Hello? Hello? Can we be always being seen again? Somebody send me a note. Hello? Ah, right. I am sorry about that, chaps. I don't know what happened. I got cut off. It said that my picture was, it said something about me, my iPad was full or something. Is anybody else watching? Are we back on, Clive? Right, yeah, we're back on. Sorry, sorry, I don't know what happened. My picture just went black. So I apologise about that. Anyway, we're back on to the loading all the fish. So I just broke down, and this were a good chub. And when I broke down, it dived up low. It got under a snag under my feet, so I lost that one. And this is halfway through, so I've lost 3 or 4 decent chub and a few. So I'm pulling my hair out. I've got about £2 in my net, and I'm sorry if a few of you have missed a bit of the story. I do apologise, but I've got about £2, and I've probably lost 6. So I think, oh God, what can I do? So I sat there for a minute. I thought, think, man, think. And then I thought, I know what I need to do. So I got all my sections. The thing is, I'm only fishing 9 metres, and I suppose I'm hooking a fish, and they're going into snag that fast before I'm really moving. So I'm not really putting sections on. So I got all my sections behind me, so that they're all set up. So as soon as I hooked anything, 2 sections on, and I thought, push them out into the river, and then at least there's perhaps no snags out there. So anyway, I start trotting down. Next jump, clonk, I've got one. Sections on, push, and the pole elastic's coming back, and then he's up. And then I played them out there in Main River, and fortunately out there it was clear, until they were absolutely done in. I got them on top, and I thought, well, and then I stood up. And you've perhaps seen, if anybody's seen any of the old pictures, because they took quite a few of me, with my pole above my head like this. And I found that if I pushed my pole into the crowd, because there's 100 watching, and come back like that, and keeping the fish on the top, and then when I got there, I break down, and then managed to land them. And from then on, I'm away. I never lost any more fish. I caught some 2 or 3 more chub. I caught a tench. Now these weren't unfortunate, they weren't big chub. The bigger ones I'd already lost, but I had a couple of pound fish, and I caught a small tench, 12-14 ounce. But through all this commotion, etc., my peg's dying, of course, and we're about 40 minutes to go, and I had sort of 10 minutes, never had a bite. So I went on my long line, had a few trots down there, and below me, and Malt's not catching nothing hardly. I think he ended up with £3 in the end. Lad above me only had £2. So look, you know, it went prolific, not for a minute. So I thought, what can we do? And it gets to 20 minutes to go. So I thought, I'm going to give him some. At the end of the day, look, chub like snap. I'm hoping to catch another big chub, for instance. So I get them 2 big handfuls of maggots, bronze with a few ready, and went in. And second run down, and I got a nice 12 ounce perch, and I pushed it out and did the same thing. I never lost a fish after that. And I landed 3 good perch in the last sort of 20 minutes. And biggest to be 14 ounce, so proper ones. And anyway, of course, and as soon as we'd done, like, I'm thinking, oh, what could I add, you know. And you know, it's easy to sit there thinking, oh, I don't know if he's done it right, you know, but there was so many snags under the water that you couldn't see, and I had to learn where they were, you know, where the one down there and one up there, like, etc. But anyway, then we're coming to the results. Like I said earlier, they started weighing in. Now when I say it didn't fish very well, here we go. First section, won with 4 hands. They used to always weigh in at the bottom end at Huxley's. And they didn't, by the time they'd got up to, look, anybody who knows Evesham, they'd got to Isbourne before they got to £3. So, you know, loudspeakers are going, because they used to weigh 10 and then shout the results out, like, same as they do now, like. And I thought, £3? Blind, well, I've got more than £3, so I'm feeling a bit more confident now, like. And then they came up to sort of the 40s. Not 40s, sorry, into the 30s. In the boat below the bridge, from the Isbourne up to the bridge. And then I hear about Jeff Salisbury, and poor Jeff, and look, just while we're talking, poor Jeff passed away last week. Jeff Salisbury from Exeter Angling Centre. So, you know, poor lad. We send our condolences, I'm sure, all of us. But anyway, you know, it was Jeff's highlighting. He caught an eel, £3 and a few bits and bobs, and he weighed £4 odd, as I remember. So I thought, well, I've got more than that. So they're still coming up, and they come above the bridge, and there's hardly any weights. And I'm thinking, well, I've done better here than I thought I had. And then Swinnow, good old Swinnow. He were always knocking. I mean, look, Swinnow used to fish with me in Trentman, and Swinnow's, well, we all know now how good Swinnow is. He's a bit younger than me, but we come up, and Swinnow was in the sort of old peg 4, I think, somewhere around that region, and he weighs £6.2, and I thought, I ain't got £6, but I might have £5 odd, and I'll come second because I can't see out below me, and there's only a few pegs below me now. So they come up like, and Swinnow's following scales up, of course, and they got to Malk Talbot below me. And by the way, as soon as the match finished, Malk, who I know very well, sorry, he shouted, "Oh, hard luck, Colin. You know, bad luck, mate," because he knows I've lost some fish, like. And anyway, he weighs £3, and they're coming up to me, and I'm thinking, well, I've got a chance of being second here. So anyway, look, it's absolutely packed with anglers and spectators. So I'm talking hundreds, not just a few, like sometimes is nowadays. And out come the net line. As soon as I pulled them out, they said, "You've won it, Cole, you've won it, you know." And I said, no, look, I don't think I've got more than Swinnow. You have, honestly. Yeah, I've seen fish. So anyway, I paused them in like, and whack, it goes on scales. It went woof, £7, and it dropped down to £6.12. Of course, I'm ecstatic. Oh, another win, like. And to some extent, look, now we're chatting, I think that's a better result than my first win. My first win, everything went to plan, you know, there were no problems. Hello, dear.
Hello.
Oh, she wife's trying to get on the picture. And the problems of the second win were far, far bigger than the problems of my first win. We didn't, okay, we lost one fish on the first win, but everything went to plan, really. This was a really difficult match. There was snags everywhere. And look, we've all been it on commercials. How many commercials you fish when there's trees in water, and you think, bloody hell, everything you're diving in and the breaking you and all that. Well, this was the same sort of thing on a river. And at the end of the day, we won. We came through it in the end. Another John Smith's win, and look, there ain't many people won a John Smith's, and for me to win it twice, there's only me, Harold, and Ashby, not Sean. Somebody will tell me. Howard will know. There's other lad who's won it twice, Howard. There's only us three won it twice, but I have also won the Witchhaven and the team match, and hence there's only Colin in the country won all the lot. I've won everything at Evesham, and so I'm going to say my next match I'm going to move on to is still at Evesham, and this match is the Frank Barlow Memorial. Now, we all, I'm sure, knew Big Frank, Frank fished with, I was at Trentman for many years, Knott's Fed, and he was a regular at Evesham. And a great talk. I mean, he wrote in papers every week, and he was a great talker, was Frank, and a great angler as well. And whether you know, whether you don't know, Jeff Perrin. I don't know whether Jeff won it twice. Yeah, I think Jeff did win it twice. Yes, he did. I think he did. I think there's me, Jeff Perrin. I've got it wrong. There's me, Jeff Perrin won it twice, but there's another one. Somebody will come up with it. And but after Frank, he got a brain tumour, unfortunately, and he did manage to win the Wychavon just before his last festival, I do believe, and then he passed away. Unfortunately, it got him, which was terrible for him. And Dick Darrington ran a Frank Barlow memorial for him. They were good friends, Frank and Dick, and he ran a big memorial match, and it was sold out right from peg 1 at Evesham, right way down to the bridge at bottom of Uxley's, and then up onto Common Road. So this was a bigger match as you'll get nowadays anywhere around Evesham. They don't have them that big. They've stopped going down Uxley's. So it was a big match. There'd be 200 fishing plus. And a friend of mine, I used to always chat when I got to Evesham. When I'd drawn, ask him how. Andy Burt. Andy, he used to live side at river, just above between the bridge and peg 1 on Evesham Bank. And if I ever drawn on a match, I knew he knew what were happening because he used to live there. And so I'd drawn up Common Road. Well, I've only ever been up Common Road once, so I sort of said, Andy, what's this like? Is it any good like? And he said, where are you? And I told him, I can't remember what peg I was, but where we used to park, you have to go out to Evesham and go down the bypass as if you're going down towards the M5. And as you hit the river at bottom there, there's a little gate and you go down under there in the bridge there. You park there, and I was about 15 pegs down below the bridge, as I remember. And he said, they catch bream down Common Road, it's deep. They're usually lower down. I don't know if there's a stream comes in or whatever, I don't know. But he says there's a big shoulder bream down there, but you're not down that far. But he says you never know, because there were 3 foot of water on. I was just unlucky. Dick had chose to fish it when it was flooded. There were 3 foot of water on, and hence, look, Avon with 3 foot is a powerful river. It's running through, and it colours up usually. Now, I drew up Corona, like I said, anyway. So he says, if I were you, your chance of winning, best chance of winning is bream. Now, I know they catch skimmers and all sorts up there at times. So that were all he said. So I went to my peg, and I walked down below, didn't know where I was really. So I sets up, and it's pushing through. And so I looked at it and I thought, well, no chance on float really. It's a non-starter. So I decided to, if there's some bream, I'll chuck some bait in. I'll chuck some ground bait in. Well, as it happens, look, I was a census agent at this time. I'd been a census agent, I was a census agent for 18 years before I sold the business to Nathan's at Derby. And so I'd got every census in the book because I was the agent. But the previous 2 or 3 weeks I'd won something, I don't know, Whiteacres or somewhere, and I'd won a bag of Mozella bream. And I thought, I don't know if this is any good, but river's in flood, I suppose really, as long as I get some bait at bottom, that was my way of thinking. So I thought, this Mozella's going in, and I'll mix about a brown crumb in it and a bit of lake. That was what I did. So I mixed this mix up, and I made a good bowl full, a full bag of this, and on whistle, I mixed a load of maggots in. Before dead maggot days, so I didn't do that. And I don't think I had any worms. So it were maggots and casters. So I put some casters and maggots in. Made, bosh and halfway across the river. Only halfway because there's a good tow on it. And at that time, we used to fish link ledger. So we'd make just a standard tail with a length like that, but we'd put swan shots on, and you'd basically put swan shots on until it'd hold the bottom. So you'd chuck your rig in, put a bit of a bow, and it'd trip. But the point being is, when she'd got it set correctly, a fish touched the bait, your swan shots would move. So a lot of the bites, where you'd get a normal pull as you would on a tip, you'd often get like that, and it'd just drop back and you pick up and the one off. So my way of thinking was, I'm going to loose feed maggots close in, might catch a few gudgeon perch or wherever on my bomb down on top of my maggots, and I'm going to ball this lot in with some bait in it, and I'll alternate double maggot, 3 maggots, I might try a worm, I don't know. And I'm going to fish link ledger. So that's what I did, put it all in, chucked my link ledger in, never had a bite. It went an hour and 10 minutes or so, I hadn't had a touch, and I've tried 2 maggots, 3 maggots, chucking down peg, chucking above it where I thought it was, because it's deep. My peg's 10, 11 foot, I would think, something like that. It's deep, and I'm putting, and it is towing, it's unfortunately coming up, not going down. So every now and again I meant to put another swan shot on, and so I thought, well, I'll chuck on the loose feed, I'll chuck down my peg on this and see if we can get a bite. Never had a bite on that, so I've fished for an hour and 3/4. I've not had a bite, and I thought, well, I'll try it feeder. So I put a little block on and chucked it over my ground bait, and I did have a bite on that, and I caught a gudgeon, and I caught another one, and I had a couple of raps, and I caught a little tiny chublet, only 6 ounce. So we're still we're not motoring or anything like that, and I'll try my link ledger again. I'd set 2 feeder rods, a feeder rod and a link ledger. So I chucked my link ledger back in, right, and it had obviously, while I were on feeder, it had picked up a bit, and it settled, and it started to pull round and roll across the bottom. So again, it a bit more line, and it rolled across the bottom, and then it held, and then it rolled, and I thought, right, bite, picked up. I've got a bream, and I mean a bream. I would say £5, a good one, and I can't remember what bottom had gone. I would only guess 012. I might have had 014, I don't know, because there was some water up towing, but I think you're on 012. So this fish, it's a big fish, and if anybody catches them in moving water, you'll know they tend to flash and they go downstream with flow. So and it's taking line, and I'm, oh God. Anyway, it goes down below me, and it's gone down, halfway down my peg, and it's thumping. I think, oh, don't come off. Yeah, but fortunately it came a bit closer inside, where the flow wasn't quite so fast. And slowly but surely I got him up, and I mean, look, this took me 10-12 minutes to get out, and eventually it comes up, and it's a big fish, big fish. My swan shots are at water. Anyway, eventually it lies on his side, and I've got him. Wow, that's worth a few fish today, mate. So I unhooked it. Unfortunately, one of the lads who I knew well, his dad, he'd come from Scunthorpe, or from Donny area. Oh, I'm sorry, I can't. Mark Price, I'd know his name. He went to fish for Scunthorpe. But anyway, he'd come with his father, and I'd got to know him reasonably well I'd seen him a couple of times, and he just happens to be walking past. He didn't know it was me, but I saw him walking. I said, "Oi, I've got my net light," and I turns round and I said, "Is that worth a few?" Great big slabber. He went, "Colin, bloody hell, Fred, nobody's catching out, mate. And I said, I'm not surprised. So anyway, in it net it was like. And anyway, after that, I alternated between little fish. I never had any bites close in. And just on top of this ground bait I'd balled in, I had another couple of little chublets and a couple of gudgeon, and you know, just only small fish. I might have had a roach. And scales come eventually, and I would have been the last away in, and I weighed £7, a big £7, £7.10, £7.12 or 14 or something like that. And when he walked down, scalesman come down, he says, "You go out, mate." He says, I says, "Yeah, I've got weight. I've got." He says, "Oh," he says, "most of them, there's loads of them not weighed in." Answers. And I pulled them out. He went, "Woof!" Oh yeah, well, I've got, you know. And I know £7's not a big weight, but on the day, we're 3 foot in, and this were a good weight, like. And of course, I were last back, as I always am. And but we got back and they'd drawn at Huxley's in the calf, and they all, you know, everybody's in calf who went back like. And I won it with £7 odd, and only the best weight at Evesham was £3. So really I'd pretty well doubled everyone else, and it were all down to that one fish. You know, one might say it's luck, but you've still got to land them, and that's fishing. I fished for it, I caught it, I won it. So you know, that was a great win for me. Another big match at Evesham, biggest I've ever won really at Evesham. You know, it weren't just a 70 pegger, that was 200ish or going on for. And so that's another one of my wins. We've not got many questions, so I'm assuming all of you are quite happy what I'm chattering away at. So I'm going to go where we're going to go. I'll tell you where I'm going to go. Year 2000, right? So we're getting a little bit nearer, still 20 years ago, but year 2000, and it's the National. Now, in the old days, the National was, you know, something special. We all like fishing National. Usually, the Nationals often. No, I didn't tell him, Neil. I told him I had fish sensors. Neil Parkinson asked him if I'd told him it was Mazzella. No, I told him I was a sensors agent. He was sensors, mate. Sorry about that. But I'll come to the National. And as you'll all know, look, many of you will have fished many Nationals, like myself. And the National's a special day. It was one day in the year when, you know, you used to stick some on the bucket and pull up. And you were probably one of the biggest pulls that you paid during the old days. And but I fished 2 matches on the River Ouse. One, absolute disaster. One, when I won my zone, right? And both times it were on the Ouse or the Cam. The match was split. And I'm going to cover both, really. The first one was absolute disaster. The Ouse was fishing diabolical. I'm sure you can, lads, the older lads will remember, I'm not actually short date. And I were fishing for knots fed. And I'd been picked, and I drew the worst section. 84 fishing, 62 blanks. It fished absolutely terrible, and I might have mentioned this on one of my other blogs, like, but I need to just explain. And so I goes there, and I drew between Kevin Ashurst and another chap here who I didn't really know, but I never had a bite. I tried ligging on for an eel. Was my pundit was to go for eels, and I ligged on with it's deep. My Ouse is very deep. If anybody's fished it, you'd be, you know, 12 foot were a shallow peg. And I fished a sort of a 1.5 gram, 2 gram rig, ligging on, laying on with maggots, worms, etc., hoping to catch an eel. And my downfall was Kevin caught 2 perch. Oops, hang on. Oops, sorry about that. Don't go off again. Kevin caught 2 perch above me, below me. Oh God, wait, hang on, let me just readjust this. It's wanting to fall over. Sorry about that. There we go. Which afterwards I said to him, how you caught them, you know, how many bites you had, Kevin? And he said, none. I said, none? You've had 2 baits. He said, yeah, but I ain't had a bite. He said, I just put a 6-foot tail on and a worm, chucked it out in the middle and reeled it in every 20 minutes. He says, and twice I got a little perch like that. And he weighed 6 ounces, I think. The lad above me had 2 eels, bootlaces, but he had 2 bites, 2 eels. Fishing exactly the same as I was. I caught none. Now, that's fishing, isn't it, sometimes? And but Knots Fed, we came second with a silver medal, and it was an honour silver medal for me because, to be fair, I got a bit slated because we had not caught one. Everybody else had caught a fish. I suppose natural, but wasn't happy I won a silver, and it for me it didn't mean out because everybody gave me a bit of hassle. Perhaps they shouldn't have done. Look, team fishing's about a team results, effort. I've never done that to anyone who, look, you do your best on a team, you talk tactics, and if it don't work for you, it don't work for you. Sometimes it does. But anyway, that's my first one over, and it was no good. Although I did win a silver medal, so I suppose I've got a silver medal. But a few years later, I've left Knots Fed. I've gone to Doncaster, and Team Dons as it was, or we'd learnt to, you know, when I first went to Doncaster, they weren't called anything, and they've got some good anglers, very good anglers, but they were, to some extent, quite a few youngsters, and the squad grew in strength over the years we were there. I ended up vice captain. Me and Dave Bell were captain, and me and him were captain and vice captain for quite a few years. And I had a great time. I really enjoyed fishing with Donny. All them lads, and I still like them now. I don't see them very often, but occasionally we have a little natter on with 1 or 2 of them on Facebook, like we do. And but we're on the ooze, and as Donny, we always used to go away for 4 days, you know, 2 or 3 days practice, and we'd gone down and we'd had a go at one stretch and caught not a lot. We had no bream, had odd fish, but they were odd. We were a real struggle on ooze. We'd gone down Cam, we'd caught some fish on Cam, no problem, and they all wanted to go on Cam because to catch a few fish, but the ooze, end of the day, is off at max length, so we've got to go and have some time. So as I remember, we had 2 on Cam, 2 on ooze. And we went to Littleport Bridge. Now Littleport, as I remember, was the end of this end of the match stretch, and I'm going to have to get a cushion. My bum's aching. Sheen,
What?
get me a cushion.
Pardon?
Just get me a cushion.
Yeah.
A cushion to sit on.
Cushion?
Yes, please. Out. Pillar.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Wait a minute.
Sorry about that. So we went to Littleport, and lads, or anybody who knows Littleport, at the bridge, look, again, the road goes all the way up the side of the Ouse, from Littleport all the way up to Ely, and but on Littleport Bridge, there's a little road on the other side with a few houses at the back, and I don't know why, but I fancied going there.
Yeah.
So, thank you. Just a sec. Let me stand up. I got a sore body. Put my shorts on and we rattled for a while, don't we? Anyway, I thought I'm going on that bank there. I know it's not my strength, but somebody, and the reason I wanted to go is that one of the lads that worked for me, Andy Allen. Look, Andy Allen's a good angler. He holds a gudgeon record. He once had 35 pound of gudgeon below Gunthorpe Weir on East Stoke side, or on Stoke, wherever it is. Now, they're big gudgeon there, but 35 pounds are a massive weight of gudgeon, isn't it? And I've got a picture of him with it, so I guarantee that is correct. But anyway, irrelevant. And he used to work for us, and we were all match anglers at our little emporium at Wovencrest. Me and John Dean and Andy Allen, Nobby, Steve Knowles, who's unfortunately passed away, which is a shame. But anyway, he's told me a method, and I want to go and try it on my own. So I went. There was two of us. Two of us said, we'll go in on that side over there. So you could park there, no problem. They were a bit shorter. Well, it weren't much different. You got to get over the fence on that side. You've got to get over like a banking on this side. So we gets down, and I starts on this method. Well, basically, this method worked magic. I absolutely sacked. I had £35 a roach. And look, the ooze is not easy fishing. And I would say, I bet you a pound this method would work today. So I'll tell you what it is. There's his secret, right? He told me that Bruce Peggs actually had sorted this method out. Now, Bruce Peggs, not many of you lot will know, he lives up Manchester now. But he used to live in Mansfield. He was a Mansfield lad. And he was we used to fish together with Loughborough many years ago. But he'd explained to Andy this method, and Andy had confided in me. And I said, come on, we're not the same team, we're not real international, you're not. Because he was fishing with Loughborough or somebody. I said, I don't know a lot of it. And he says, no. All right, I'll tell you. He said he's feeding a pouch full of a hemp, and 3 maggots. I said, 3? Look, anybody knows ooze, it's bottomless. As I've said, a shallow peg's 12 foot. If you get a proper peg, it can melt up to 16 foot. Some might say more. But anyway, we went up the side, and where we were fishing, near Little Port Bridge, it'd perhaps be, it was 12 foot deep, I would say. So probably a shallow for the ooze. And that was it, really. He says, on a pole fishing, feed a big patch of them, 3 maggots, 4 maggots. More maggots you put in, less you catch, he said. So he says, don't think, you're going to up it. If anything, go less. So I thought, I'm going to go try this. So sat down and starts piling it. I mean, I took 4 pint of hemp. So when I say a patch full, I'm talking, a little pult with a small patch on. Don't mean a minute. So you're chucking 40 grains in at a time. So we're not looking to catch on hemp. We just want it as a bait to put a bed on bottom. So I sits down, I put 3 or 4 patches in to start with. And then I'm feeding a patch, 4 maggots. Patch, 3 maggots. Patch, 4 maggots. 5 maggots, no more. And starts off. Took 20 minutes, down it was clonked. And these fish are quality fish on ooze. Lovely fish. They were 4, 6, 8, a 10 ounce roach. But I had a lovely 2, 3, 4 hours of fishing. And I thought I better go and tell other lads, because they go net full. And so I left this other lad to watch tackle and drove round, and I says, I would go in the Cauldron lads. Can you remember any of you lot know Cauldrons? They live up canal anglers from up Manchester way or around that area. Brilliant canal anglers, nice lads. George Cauldron, I can't remember the other one's name, I'm sorry. But I goes to George, he caught out, I've got 4 fish. I say, I've got £35. He says, you what? Yeah, look, I says, I'm telling you, I've got £35. So I explained to him, and they scratched their heads a little bit and went, and I walked down stretch and they just didn't, some of them didn't believe. I said, look, you come and have a look. So a couple of them come round, and I starts fishing again, bloody hell, wow, I'm catching a great big roach. So a couple of them went back, and they didn't bag, but they had 3 or 4, better than what they were doing. You couldn't catch on ground, some balled it, and some fishing feeders. You waste of time, you couldn't catch anything, they weren't having it. So my confidence was bang, it's 10 days to go to final, to national. So off we goes, we drew wherever, I can't remember where we're like. And I thought, I didn't want one of these pegs that was 17 foot deep. Well, sorry, of course, we had a meeting. And some said, I don't think that'll work everywhere, Colin. And I said, look, listen, I'm telling you now, I've been told. And you've just got to have confidence. It might take you 3 hours to get a bite. But I'm telling you now, once they come, you will be beating everybody. They crawl up rod. and some are, you know, a bit iffy. So I said, well, I'm telling you what I'm doing. I'm going to go. I did have a customer at Wisbeach. Look, general wholesale, I sold all sorts. And I've got a customer at Wisbeach. So I said, right, one of these nights this way, I'm going to make my last call at Wisbeach, which is bloody miles from where I live. And I'm going to go and have an evening, the last till it gets dark, and I'm going to go somewhere different, not Littleport. I'm going to fish somewhere totally I don't know, where it's probably 10 times deeper, like, you know. So I did that, and this was on the Wednesday before the, not, obviously you weren't allowed to fish the river so many before, but it was, you know, the week before the close down, if you like. So I just drove up the banking till halfway up, and I thought, there's a bridge here, I'll go over the bridge, I could go up the other side where I tend to walk, and it was easy. So I gets out van, gets me tackle, piles some empty, and I fished for an hour and 3/4, and it was a bit of a run. You were towing, not fast, but just a steady run through. And I'm trotting down, you know, and I kept feeding 3 maggots, 4 maggots, patch of them. And yes, Trevor, I can read your comment. And so we trots down, and after an hour and 3/4, on down it went. I gets hybrid, £1. And in the last, it's getting dark nearly, but, and one might say it could have been because it was getting dark, of course, but in the last 50 minutes I has £4. So I'm still dead confident what I'm doing is right. So we goes on national, I goes to squad, we have a last team meeting, and I say to them, look lads, I'm telling you now, this is the method, you know. Some, I can tell are not super confident, and I said, you've just got to be confident and keep it in. I don't think they'll catch around you in any other way, any better way, let's put it that way. So anyway, I goes and draws, and I drew an Ely on A section, which I think was the top section, right up at Ely, and we drew about peg 7 if I remember. And so I'd never been that end light, so all I wanted when I plumbed up, I didn't want it to be 17 foot. I was hoping it'd be 12 or something like 12, 13 foot. I'd have been happy, or less. And so I gets to my peg, and obviously Paul goes out, gets me rig, which as I remember, it was a simple rig, Olivet rig, gram and half, with a few droppers on, 18 hooks, well, it's 20 hook, I don't know, it might have been 20 hook, I would have thought. Single, double maggot, and plumb it up 3-4 inches of the depth. That was it. And I did set a feeder up, and I set a slider up because the ooze was tidal or affected by the tide, so it used to run and slow down during the day, and when it slowed down it was a different cup of tea. So anyway, whistle goes, I puts 3 or 4 pouches in, like, you know, my 3 maggots. And bloke above me balls it, which we didn't particularly find work. But he went in and started catching little skimmers straight away, 3-4 ounce. And, you know, I ain't had a bite. So, but I'm confident my method's going to work. So, you know, anyway, after about half an hour, I ain't had a bite, and he's probably 10 fish. And I'm just thinking, oh dear, did I ought to ball it? And I thought, no, I'm going to stick it out at least for an hour. And then I'll, you know, if I ain't caught an hour and he's still catching, I'll consider it. So, anyway, I keep 45 minutes, clonk, 3 hours, clonk. Anyway, from then on I'm all motoring. And for 2 hours I had a roach at virtually every chuck. And I'm netting them, best fish 10 ounce, you know, there were some nice fish, 4 ounce, 5 ounce, 6 ounce fish every chuck, I'm not kidding. Once I got them there, they were solid. And I had a real, till halfway through, and then all of a sudden the tide starts slowing down and down and down until it stood. In fact, it might have gone that way for a short while. And when it started to really slow down, I couldn't get a bite. So at that time, I put slider on and went a bit further out, but I still fed hemp and maggot, just same as we've been doing. I caught a couple of skimmers, sort of 12 ounce, and a few bits and bobs. And anyway, and then it started to run again, and then I was back on my pole. And the lad next to me got an hour to go, and he shouts Dad to me, and he's still catching an odd fish, but I'm battering him now, like, and he's saying, right, just for a minute, and near to clear the cache memory on the iPad. Well, you're telling me, Clive, and I don't know how to do that, and certainly don't know how to do it when we're talking. And let's hope it manages till the end, mate. And but anyway, he's asking me about stake fishing. Now, on the Trent, of course, when anybody who used to fish the Trent regularly, as it got into winter, and it's still the same now, rivers are all the same near enough. When it gets to really cold, the ropes just turn off, the fish turn off. And on the Trent, we had a spell particularly a few years ago, no doubt it'd still work, although there isn't. Probably wouldn't, because we're in the head of chub. The Trent just don't seem to have the chub in it. All the rivers are the same. You just don't seem to catch many nowadays, odd uns, but not many. But anyway, in the old days, we used to take steak, mince. You used to go and buy £2 of mince, and get the butcher to give you a handful of steak, stewing meat, for the hook. So we used to feed steak. We used to mix some hemp in it as well, and feed hemp as well, not heavily, and mix it in, and then bosh a few balls upstream, which steak sinks reasonably quickly, but it'd break up while it was going down. You'd see bits coming off it, etc. And you fish a good float, a big stick float, with steak in, mince, a little 3-4 square full of mince. We a decent, the problem with steak is you put it on hook as a little piece, like your fingernail, right, on perhaps a 16.